let's talk about suicide. I'm in the RV today and I'm thinking a little bit about suicide behaviors in America, nationwide. We got songs about it. We got people trying to bring awareness to it. And it's like, why do we have so much suicide? What is the problem? Is suicide the answer for the people that do it? What about the people that are after them, that are revolve in their lives? How do they deal with it? What does it do to their lives? And I'm just going to tell you from my perspective, from a first responder who dealt with people that were committing suicide, who saw suicide attempts, who known people that had suicide attempts. From what I have seen, everybody that has survived suicide attempts has regret. Why people continue to do suicide is because I'm guessing, they say, well, people don't understand me. My situation's different. Well, I can tell you, I came to some pretty dark places in my life. And there was times that I thought, how could this person have done this? When I was at a suicide, when I responded to a suicidal call. And then I reached a point in my life where I thought, I can understand this. I could see how people would do this. It came to me when I was really struggling. God bless, I didn't go down that road. And I'm here today to talk about this and to be here for my family. But a lot of people don't make it. They go down the suicide route. And if you're one of those people that are struggling with suicide, or somebody struggling with suicide, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're just struggling. You've hit an all-time stress. I had a girl that was 15, 16 years old. We picked up one day in the ambulance one night. We respond because there's a report of somebody jumping out in front of cars. 2-lane highway, kind of out of town, nobody around, not very good lighting. She's hiding on the side of the road and would jump out in front of cars when they were coming by, trying to get hit by a car. Once we get her, she ends up admitting she wanted to commit suicide. Why did she want to commit suicide? Because she's fighting with her mom. She's fighting with her mom, and her answer was suicide. Now, 10 years before that, she's in kindergarten. Life is amazing. Now here she is, 10 years later, and a fight with her mom is leading her to suicide. If she could be alive 20 years in the future, look back, that fight with her mom might not have been that big of a deal. Things, we grow in life and we get stronger and stronger, and the things that used to be stressful aren't so stressful. But there's times that we all reach our breaking point. I had a veteran that shot himself in the head, 45 caliber gun, put it to his head, pulled the trigger. Last second, he changed his mind. It's too late. He already pulled the trigger. But from pulling the trigger to the time the gun went off, he changed his mind. So as he changed his mind, pulled his head away, and it pulled a big portion of his head off. I transported him in, and he had regret. He says he will never be suicidal. His life is valuable. He lost people in combat that will never be back, and was devastatingly hurtful to him. But he doesn't want to die. I saw my own mom when I was about 11 years old try to jump out of the car going down the highway. She said she had enough. F this. My life is over. Opens the door, try to jump out. Luckily, we didn't have seatbelts. We had seatbelts, but they weren't laws back then. So I'm in the back seat. I lunge forward. My dad's driving. He's trying to grab her. She's on her way out the door. I lunge forward from the back, and I've already got her. And I remember locking her up into a headlock with my right arm as I'm trying to pin her into the seat with my left. And my dad telling me, stop, let go of her, as he's trying to get the car stopped. And she has done so many amazing things in her life and in my life, and wants to be alive for as long as possible to see her grandkids and hopefully great grandkids someday. All, those moments were moments of regret. I knew somebody that I was close to that had enough of life, swerved off the road, going over double the speed limit, head on to a tree with their seatbelt off. I was the first one there, helping pull them out, and they said, I'm sorry. You know, their initial thing was regret. People regret it. They regret it when they make that decision. So it's the answer in the moment. It's the easy answer in the moment that is immediately faced with regret. Now, I give it to you. Some people, they try it again. They try suicide. They don't have regret. And when they get an opportunity, they try it again. But the people that have had multiple attempts that didn't succeed and are healthy now will tell you that they regret those times in their life. The ones that succeeded, of course, we won't ever know their story, and you can't do anything about those people. They're gone. You can't live with the regret. If somebody committed suicide, you can't live with the regret, the guilt, or the shame that you've accompanied with them, like maybe you could have helped them. There's bad things that happen to good people. You know, you look at the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, you look at the Bible and you say, you know, you look at Joseph, and he was sold into slavery by his brothers, and they were going to kill him. And then they decided to sell him into slavery, and he ends up basically running Egypt and taking care of his family, including those brothers, and living a long, blessed life. You know, you have bad things that happen to good people. And when those people come through it, they're stronger than they ever were before. I've got a friend of mine that had multiple suicide attempts, and now he's living his best life. He still has struggles, but he does things to try to help out youth, to make sure if youth that is struggling, like Boys and Girls Club type stuff, to help promote better people and better generations to come, and somebody that has been there can understand. The thing is, your best life can still be out there ahead of you. It could still be just right out there. Tomorrow, next week, 10 years from now. Your best life is still out there if that's what you want your best life to be. If you want to drown in your sorrow and drown in your guilt and drown in your shame, that door is right there. You can open it up, jump right in, and be the victim. It's easy. I became a victim. I had a lot of bad things happen to me. I had injury happen, and I had a lot of bad things outside of the injury, and I had some really bad calls at the fire department that then snuck up on me and that I didn't even know were problems. All of a sudden now were problems. And so then I start not being able to sleep. I'm in pain a lot, and it just dwindled down a bad road for me and anybody that was around me that I let still come into my life. It wasn't me anymore. It was me struggling. And that's what those people are out there that are suicidal. If you're the suicidal person, you just got to know that those times come to pass. You know, or you want to use the river as the example. It's never the same river. You stand in that river and 10 minutes later you walk in the same river. It's a different river. All that water is gone. This is a new river. Time can heal. Education can heal. You have to grow from all these struggles that you're given. It's like that saying I said in some of the other videos that I learned in Warrior Path. You know, he is greatest, or she, the person is greatest who is trained in the severe schools. If you can make it through the school. And you might say, I can't handle it anymore. You can. You can handle it. And if you're not the person struggling, you know the person is struggling, and you get a whole lot of, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, man. Yeah, life is good. Now, you don't have to settle for that. Try to build trust with that person. Tell them something. Be vulnerable yourself. Tell them some deep, dark secret that probably brings you stress that you're not telling other people. If you truly care about them, let them know I'm here for you. Tell them something vulnerable about yourself. And let them know I'm here. I'm open up to you, and I'm here to listen if you want to talk. Hopefully, You can just let them know that you love them and you're there to support them, and you just want to hear what they have to say. And if they trust you enough that they can talk without you being vulnerable yourself, listen to them. Listen. Make sure your phone is off. Make sure your watch is on vibrate. Make sure you are 100% focused and supportive, and you don't judge at all. You don't know what it's like to be in their shoes. You might have an idea because of a struggle you've had, but right now is not the time to talk about it. Right now is the time to just listen. Be supportive. Just them getting that out can be beneficial to them. And then ask if you can give them an opinion, or if they even want an opinion. Do you even want to hear what I have to say? And if they're not talking, but they're willing to sit there with you, just sit there. You don't have to fill the void with conversation or you saying something. Sometimes the most important information comes after there's been a couple minutes or more of just silence. And they're gathering what they want to say, and then they tell you. As people grow, they'll become better and better. They'll get more and more control of their life as they're given the opportunity to grow, as they're given the opportunity to disclose the information. If they disclose it and they feel that they got a support network around them, they're more likely not to go down the suicide route. That's my opinion. Acknowledge your struggle. And if the struggle is leading you down a suicidal route, acknowledge that. Acknowledge that you have suicidal thoughts. You know, it's one thing to have a suicidal thought, it's another thing to follow through. But if you're already having the thoughts, oh, I should kill myself, that's one thing. If you start thinking of the way you're going to do it, it's getting really serious. And then if you start having neglect for your own life, you're just taking the steps, getting closer to it. You're taking the steps in a direction that is bringing you closer to that suicide, or your family, or whoever it is that you care about. You see them going down that path. Help reel them back in, or reel yourself back in. Remember the qualities, the quality of life that you had, and when you weren't that way. And now you're given these opportunities of this massive struggle that's leading you to suicide, and you can either take it and run down to the grave with it, or you can take it and move forward with it and become a better person. If you're a parent and your kids are showing signs of suicide, God bless you, and I hope that you are very patient and can listen. You can listen and help them through whatever struggle they may be. Suicide, isn't the answer, in my opinion. I'm not a psychiatrist, not a doctor. I'm just a person who has dealt with some hard struggles and have seen people kill themselves, and have seen people try to kill themselves and then instantly have regret. So, for what it's worth, that's it. That's what I got to say. This is way longer than I wanted it to be. If you're struggling, find somebody you can talk to. Pull yourself out of the hole, because you don't need to be in the hole anymore. All you're doing is dragging yourself down, and it's getting darker and darker, and your window is getting narrower and narrower. And eventually, as you get closer to that edge, you might jump. Or you can grow from all this struggle that you're dealing with and become a better version of yourself and look back and say, man, I'm glad. I'm glad for me. I'm glad for my family. I'm glad for my friends. I'm glad for everything in my life. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. If you have faith, Hopefully it grows from there. Lean to the Bible. Start reading the Bible again. If you used to read the Bible, or you used to read some passages, or just read a little bit every day. If that's not your thing, find out what is your thing and do it. Something that makes you feel good, something that brings you peace. Whatever it is, riding your mountain bike, going for a motorcycle ride. We just got back from Sturgis, and just riding out there in the mountains at the bike rally was amazing. Then again, just getting on my bike here and going for a 30-minute ride can bring a lot of peace. Find whatever brings you peace and do that. Regather your thoughts, write them down, organize them, figure them out, and all the stress unload it onto somebody. They won't necessarily be carrying it for you, but you get it out of your own conscious, out of your own backpack. Like, get it off you and put it out there. And if you still don't make it, like I've known people that didn't make it through that and committed suicide, and they didn't make it, then well, nothing we can do about that now. They're gone. We can grow from their experience, and hopefully we see them again someday. So growth. Disclose your information. Whatever's weighing down on you, realize whatever it is that you think you need to kill yourself for is not as important as you think it is. All right, that's all I've got to say about suicide. I was just thinking about it, and I had to get that out there.